It's always a better choice. My one and only station.
DBS Radio.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, China's ambassador to Dominica praises Dominica's efforts in maintaining the One China principle. In news from the region, CARICOM Deputy Secretary General heading delegation to World Health Assembly meeting. And internationally, inmates facing murder charges among 11 escapees from New Orleans principal. Good evening, or that's prison. Good evening, I am Leila Lang for details of the news when I return.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
Welcome back. China's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Chu Mangming, has praised Dominica's efforts in maintaining the One China principle. His comments came following the fourth ministerial meeting of the China CELAC Forum held in Beijing this week. CELAC is the Community of Latin America and the Caribbean States. Ambassador Mangming says Dominica has been a true friend of the People's Republic of China.
So in the next 3 years, China will provide CELAC member states, with Dominica included. We are going to provide 3,500. Since the establishment of diplomatic ties, the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica has consistently and firmly adhered to the One China principle, as mentioned just now. The fact that there's one China has become a broad consensus across various sectors of the international community. So we really appreciate the position that has been taken by the Dominican government and the Dominican people. March last year, during his meeting with Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, President Xi Jinping expressed his appreciation for Dominica's long-standing support. He also reaffirmed China's firm commitment to supporting Dominica's independence and development, as well as its support for the country's efforts to safeguard its core interests and major concerns.
Ambassador Mangming says Dominica and CELAC member states will benefit from education opportunities in China.
So in the next 3 years, China will provide CELAC member states, with Dominica included. We are going to provide 3,500 government scholarships. 3,500 government scholarships. 10,000 training opportunities in China, 500 international Chinese language teacher scholarships, 300 training opportunities for poverty reduction professionals, and 1,000 funded placements through the Chinese Bridge program. China will initiate 303 yet small programs such as the Luban workshop and support CELAC member states in developing Chinese language education. We have seen many Dominican students studied in China. Chinese aided playground equipment. I think you must have seen a new playground here in Canefield coming up. And we have provided several playgrounds of this kind and some sports gear. Have also brought joy to local communities. We look forward to continuing our cooperation with our friends to maximize these opportunities.
China's ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Chu Mangming. Contracts valued at over $5 million have been signed in an effort to further advance Dominica's agricultural recovery. 11 contracts, which forms part of the Emergency Agricultural Livelihood and Climate Resilience Project, were signed at the State House Conference Center this morning.
It's indeed a pleasure to be part of today's ceremony, bearing witness to the signing of 11 contracts that will positively impact the lives of many families involved in agriculture, fisheries, and the tourism sectors. These investments, totaling $5.2 million, represents just a portion of the significant efforts being made towards the development and modernization of Dominica's agricultural sector. Two notable contracts being signed today are for the rehabilitation of segments 4 and 11 of the Whitey Kubuli National Trail, valued at $1.1 million. The WNT is a key tourism product, drawing overnight visitors and boosting local economies. I'm also particularly proud of the contract for the construction of an animal feed mill plant in the north of the island near the Longhouse Port. This facility will help reduce feed costs and fill supply gaps, directly supporting our livestock farmers. We are also issuing contracts today for the procurement of irrigation supplies worth approximately $700,000, a vital investment in our efforts to climate-proof vegetable production and ensure a consistent supply of fresh vegetables.
Minister for Agriculture Roland Royer. Minister for Tourism Denise Charles Pemberton represented Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit at this morning's contract signing ceremony.
Our vision is bold: to grow the agricultural industry into a $700 million pillar of the economy by 2030. And I'm confident, given the investments made and the direction we are heading, that this is not just a dream, it is a destination. But to get there, we will need every fisher, every farmer, every fishmonger, and every agro-processor to do two critical things. One, protect the investments we have made and increase your production so that together we can lift this sector to new heights. Let me remind you, this progress was not made by chance. Today's ceremony, this achievement, is the fruit of sacrifice, vision, and faith. All contracts signed today, valued at EC 5.6 million, is about a better future for you, your families, and generations to come. So I caution us, let us not be distracted. Let us not allow those who try to pull wool over our eyes to blur the vision of the Dominica we are building.
Minister for Tourism Denise Charles Pemberton. Among the contracts signed today were the rehabilitation of the Whitey Kubuli National Trail segments 4 and 11, improvement works at the Newton and Fonkole fish landing sites, development of the Portsmouth feed mixing plant, material for boat building, refurbishment of Dexia multipurpose packhouse, irrigation equipment and supplies, and supply of lumber. Minister for Finance Dr. Irving McIntyre says investments into Dominica's fisheries sector will reap numerous benefits.
Fisheries has taken up an expanding role since the demise of the banana industry. Many young farmers found the fisheries sector as a viable alternative for livelihood and food security. And together, we have built a safer and more sophisticated industry through the production and distribution of modern fiberglass boats and other modern devices such as fish aggregation devices. I'm very pleased to see that our efforts are continuing to grow the sector, especially the area of offshore fisheries. Through these actions, we are seeking to protect our nearshore fisheries, which are already under threat of extinction. If we continue to manage our nearshore fisheries, this will provide an added boost to the tourism product. The integration of these two sectors at the granular level will provide added opportunities for dive operators, divers, and overtime fisher folks. In addition to these investments, we will reduce fish importation, improve food security, and ultimately enhance agriculture's contribution to gross domestic product. Investment in the fisheries sector therefore have significant economic benefits at the micro and macro levels. The fisheries sector, a significant contributor to rural employment, already contributes 1% of GDP. But there are still tremendous economic opportunities for our people and country.
Minister for Finance, Dr. Irvin McIntyre. In other news this evening, Minister of State with specific responsibility for youth and sports, Senator Oscar George, says the National Employment Program continues to significantly impact the lives of Dominicans. Senator George says over 3,000 Dominicans are currently employed under the National Employment Program. He made these remarks on the Ministry of Environment program on DBS Radio.
I was one of the fortunate persons to have been the initial interns when the NEP program began. And why I'm saying this is because I think we need to take some time to understand the true impact of this program. And we have to understand that currently the program employs more than 3,000 people across Dominica. Otherwise, these people would not be employed. And in the initial stages in 2013 and 2014, the objective of the program was to identify persons who sometimes they came back from studying or they're in the communities and they have some potential and they cannot find employment. And just to create a program where you can engage these people in meaningful employment and they can earn some money. And of course, many persons who worked on the program, they transition into bigger and better things. This program, it does wonders for Dominica. You know, the true impact of this program is significant. On a monthly basis, the government spends over $5 million just on the NEP program. So you can appreciate the impact that is having on the livelihoods of Dominicans. The NEP is here to stay. The NEP is a program that we all have to continue to support and advocate for. And of course, we cannot afford to let anyone look down on persons in the NEP program.
Minister of State with specific responsibility for youth and sports, Senator Oscar George. The president of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Dr. Ted Wilson, will visit Dominica from May 22nd to 25th to observe the progress of the construction of the Ebenezer SDA Primary School in Goodwill. President of the East Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Anthony Hall, says the visit aims to foster a deeper understanding and garner increased support across the church for Adventist primary school education.
The leader of our world organization in the United States is Dr. Ted Wilson, and he will be coming to Dominica between May 22nd and 25th, 2025, for a special visit to observe the progress of a construction that is going on at Goodwill in Roseau. That is the construction of the Ebenezer SDA Primary School. The current facility, which is by the river and the bridge in Roseau itself, has outlived its usefulness in the basement of the church. There are over 200 students there now in cramped conditions, and they want to have a nice home and place for them to, express themselves in the best way possible. State-of-the-art building, several classrooms, private staff room, and facilities that would include gymnasium and several floors and so on, specialist rooms, computer rooms, and so on. The president from the United States, his organization has contributed close to $1 million EC to the project. So their interest in the project is to come and see its progress, to interact with the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Dominica and the community at large, and to demonstrate thereby their interest and support for Christian education in Dominica. On the afternoon of the 24th of May, Wilson and his party will be participating in a consecration service of the construction site at Goodwill.
President of the East Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Anthony Hall. In conjunction with the site visit, a national convention will be hosted at the Windsor Park Stadium on Saturday, May 24th from 9:30 a.m.
Seventh-day Adventists in Dominica are about 7,000, and we anticipate that the majority of them will gather in that stadium for what will be a convocation of sorts. It will be a religious service from 9 a.m. approximately, concluding at 12:30, where President Wilson will also be the featured speaker. At that convention, there will be national mass choir involving the children, their parents, and their teachers. That's going to be a feature. We manage 4 schools in Dominica, 1 secondary school, the Alpha Waldron SDA Secondary School in Portsmouth. We have a primary school in Temple, 1 in St. Joseph, and of course the 1 in Roseau. They will be getting together to present musical items. There will be discussions about education generally and how the church can better serve the community, as well as a sermon presented by Dr. Ted Wilson. The theme of that sermon and the day's events are SDA Education, a bridge to the future.
President of the East Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Anthony Hall. Acting Chief Cultural Officer Ulson Matthew has described the Cultural Division's community outreach as a success. Matthew says the tokens of appreciation presented to various cultural icons were well received by the recipients. Yesterday, the Cultural Division recognized 7 individuals for their contributions.
Yesterday, the staff of the Cultural Division took on an endeavor to give back to some cultural stalwarts with our Team Culture community outreach. Flood the media with heartwarming tributes to the following individuals. Gilbert Earth Angol for his passion in so many disciplines like court, Creole song, drumming a psalm and accordion. Serafin Joseph competing year after year in various disciplines during the independence celebrations. Leonard Henderson, who has founded 2 cultural groups in Massa and is also very involved in our training programs. Felix Wachi Parelo for holding up the band movie tradition in Corleo for so many years. Murray Frederick, a versatile, passionate visual artist. And Mary Parelo, a seasoned songwriter receiving top awards in many local competitions. I'm sure by now most people have seen the pictures and videos. I mean, some of the recipients were brought to tears, some performed for us, some even had gifts for us. Just a great experience and heartwarming to see the joy that we were able to bring. And for that, I want to thank my staff and, of course, those who partnered with us. I want to encourage others, maybe in other fields or even within the cultural world, to do similar activities. We cannot do it all. We cannot cover everybody who we think would be worthy. So it would be nice if the private sector, public sector, or other individuals could take up similar initiatives or partner with us.
Acting Chief Cultural Officer Ulson Matthew. That's the National Focus, Regional and International Developments up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the Deputy CARICOM Secretary General, Dr. Armstrong Alexis, is leading a regional delegation to next week's 78th World Health Assembly (WHA) in Switzerland. A statement from the Guyana-based CARICOM Secretariat said that as the region prepares for the impact of shifting global policies on healthcare systems in the Caribbean, including the reductions in funding for critical programs such as HIV and AIDS, there are several critical global health issues for member states' attention on the agenda from 19th to 27th May 2025. Ahead of the meeting, Alexis said that protecting the health of CARICOM citizens and advocating for solutions for healthcare sector challenges experienced by small island developing states will be a high priority for discussion. And internationally, authorities say 11 prisoners, several of them facing murder charges, have escaped a New Orleans jail. The inmates are thought to have fled around midnight and were discovered missing during a head count at the New Orleans Parish Jail this morning. Police said that one inmate was apprehended in New Orleans French Quarter. The New Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office said the escaped inmates are considered armed and dangerous, adding that a search was underway. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. Schools Under 15 Basketball Festival ended this afternoon. Sports Officer Yudi John has the details.
The secondary schools Under 15 Basketball Festival came to an end after 2 days of competition. Today at the massacre in the facility. 3 teams competed in the boys division, and the boys played 2 rounds of matches. After all the matches, the St. Mary's Academy, they won all 4 of the matches to secure the title and to successfully defend their title that they secured last year. Mariano Blanc, he was the most valuable player for the St. Mary's Academy as they beat the PSS and Cassibros twice. The PSS, they came in second place, having beat the Cassibros Secondary School twice, and the Cassibros Secondary School boys, they came in the cellar position. However, the Cassibros girls avenged their boys' defeat, winning the PSS 2-0. There were only 2 teams in the girls division competing in the U15 Girls Basketball Festival, the Cassibros Secondary School and the Portsmouth Secondary School. They played a best-of-3 series, and the Cassibros Secondary School, after going down 6-4 in the first match, they bounced back with a 10-0 and 6-2 wins in the second and third matches to win the series 2-1. So the Portsmouth Secondary School, the Cassibros Secondary School became the girls Under 15 festival champions, and the SMA, they are the boys champions for a second time in a row.
In other sports this evening, Olympic gold medalist Thea Lafogatson jumped a season's best on her way to a second-place finish in the Doha Diamond League on Friday. Lafogatson, who is still recovering from a knee procedure last year, fouled her first attempt of the event. She responded in a big way with her second jump to get 14.29 meters, and she recorded 13.47 meters on her third attempt. Needing to surpass 14.72 meters to secure first place in her final 3 jumps, Lafogatson got a best of 14.39 meters on her 5th attempt. The 14.39 meters represents her best jump for 2025, which was good enough for second place. The competition was won by Shanika Ricketts of Jamaica, who jumped a season best of 14.72 meters. The search for a new West Indies Test captain is over. Cricket West Indies has named Barbados all-rounder Ruston Chase as the new West Indies Test captain. Chase's selection follows a series of interviews with 5 other candidates. Chase, who is already 33 years old, made his Test debut in July 2016 against India. Over the course of his career, Chase has featured in 49 tests, scoring 2,265 runs at an average of 26.33 with 5 centuries to his name. His bowling contributions have also significantly showed off with standout performances such as his 8 for 60 against England in Barbados in January 2019, one of the best innings figures by a West Indian spinner in Test history. Meantime, head coach Darren Sammy has expressed his strong support for the captain. He says Chase has earned the respect of his peers, understands the responsibility that comes with the role, and has shown the leadership qualities that is needed to take his team forward. Ruston's first outing as captain will be home series against Australia, with the first match at Kensington Oval on June 25th. National swimmer Jasmine Schofield came very close to breaking the national record for the women's 50 meters butterfly event at the 2025 Pan Am Aquatics Champions Friday morning. But her efforts were not fast enough to advance to the next round of the competition. Schofield swam 31.72 seconds to finish in 5th place in her heat. Fernandez of Argentina was the first to cross the line in a time of 28.1 seconds. The 31.72 seconds mark set by Schofield is just 1 millisecond of the national record at 31.71 seconds she swam just last week in France. Schofield has one more event, which is the 50 meters freestyle on Saturday. CWI President Dr. Kishore Shaloo says a qualification process will be implemented to ensure that every member territory of Cricket West Indies gets a chance to qualify for the 2028 Summer Olympics. Cricket is said to be a part of the 2028 Olympic Games. Dr. Shaloo says every country will have the opportunity to qualify.
But I want you to understand that, of course, this is the Olympics, and there won't be a West Indies team participation. But one of the countries in the Caribbean will represent us, and whoever goes there, just like how Jamaica represents us at the Olympics, St. Lucia recently, and other countries, every single country, especially Barbados, will have an opportunity to represent us at the Olympics based on a qualification process that we are establishing at Cricket West Indies. And with that, it's just a reminder, especially for the young kids who I'm so happy to see here this morning, of the opportunities there in cricket. I mean, tremendous opportunities. There's no better time. Sir West and Sir Garden, I'm sure you would agree. There's no better time to be a cricketer than now.
CWI President Dr. Kishore Shaloo. Former NBA player Gaffer Joseph has endorsed the Creole Basketball Memorial Cup and thinks that Dominican basketballers will benefit a lot from the exposure. The tournament, which features Martinique, Guadeloupe, and a team from the West Africa country of Benin, gets underway next week in Martinique. There will also be matches in Dominica next Saturday at the Massac Indoor Facility.
I think the competition is very good. I think we cannot look at it as only as the competition. Like Jerry said, this is an opportunity to open up a wide range of stuff, not only in basketball, but all different, I would say, aspects of sports, but also in other things, tourism, economics, commerce, trade. There's so much opportunity with this, and I don't think we should just look at the competition. The competition is great. It's going to showcase a lot of talent. We're going to see some of the other countries like Africa that is playing and not just necessarily NBA. So we're going to see that there's basketball all over, but it's also going to showcase that we as a people can do a lot of different things. So I think it's an opportunity to get young players, and just like NBA does NBA Africa, maybe we have an Africa connection where we can have players go, young players go, learn the sport, learn how to play different sports, and come back and contribute. So that's a very good thing.
Former NBA player Gaff Joseph. Meantime, General Secretary of the DABA, Jerry Williams, says that the DABA is excited to be involved in the tournament.
But they're bringing a style of basketball a person would enjoy. Most of their players are professional players. The other thing, I think Benin just started a professional league as well. They're based in West Africa. They have also, I think, affiliated to NBA Africa as well. And so it's a good opportunity for us to see where the world is and where we're at, because the coach of Benin is also a professional coach in France. So just imagine if one of our players capture his eyes, what's the end result of that. So creating these opportunities, sometimes we figure we want our players to reach a certain level, but we're not exposing them. They have the talent, but they just need to be exposed.
General Secretary of the DABA, Jerry Williams. West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says the new bowling coach Ravi Rampal will add a lot to the coaching staff. Rampal, the former West Indies fast bowler, is replacing James Franklin as bowling coach. Sammy says that Rampal comes with a lot of experience.
Ravi comes with a lot of experience. I would like to thank James Franklin, who, in life we got to move on to different things, and the time James spent with us was really good. So, but it's also a pleasure for me working with Ravi Rampal, someone I played with. The amount of experience that he brings to the dressing room, my conversations with him, the data-driven approach that we are embarking on or continuing to embark on, he comes fully equipped with that, and hopefully he could have that impact on the bowling group that we're trying to have in this format of the game.
West Indies head coach Darren Sammy. And that's how we end the DBS Evening Sports Report and news. On behalf of the News and Sports Departments and our link person, DJ Halo Boy, I am Leila Langford saying good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282. DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live